So, as you can see, I was out at a concert, right? It was a Dead Mouse concert over at Echo Stage. So, there, talking to different people throughout the night, I like to get a little bit closer to the stage. I feel like it's a little bit more dense in terms of the people around. And you also get a little closer to the music. I feel like it's kind of a higher energy place. So, I like the high energy. And then, if it goes well and, you want to go to a place quieter where you can talk, that's always an option. But I like to start there. I like to be in the places where there's a lot of people around, right? So, up near the front of the stage, just dancing, talking to a few people around me here and there. And I notice what kind of looks like a couple, right? A guy and a girl off to my left, kind of close to each other, talking. Continue going on about the night, talking to people around me, dancing, etc. Eventually, I feel like I start to notice the woman that was part of the two, the guy and the girl, or man and woman, starting to look over and looks like she's, interested in joining the fun, right? Still keep doing my thing, but later on, dancing, and end up kind of starting a little conversation with her, right? And in this brief conversation, she ends up sharing that that's her friend from work, right? So this is kind of the first lesson that I want to highlight in this video, right? Is that when you see a man and woman out together, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are together, in a relationship or romantically or that sort of thing, right? And I feel like this is common with newer folks starting out where they'll see a guy and girl together, assume that they're a couple, and that changes the way they would approach the interaction or maybe changes their opinion, and so they don't approach the two of them, right? It's not always the case, okay? And what I've often found is that if it is a man and woman together and the woman is interested in you, she will make it kind of clear fairly early on that, like, no, we're not out together. And sometimes if they, see you talking to other girls and come up and are interested in you, they'll ask, are you together? Like, fairly early on, right? So, and I feel like when that is a question that's asked, it's also a signal of interest, right? Do you really need to know if we're together? If is it going to change your mind or your opinion, or you don't really care about it? So, anyways, end up talking to her for a little bit. The guy, I think, kind of sees us talking, gets a little bit discouraged, and kind of goes away, but starts talking to another girl himself. So leaves us more time. We end up talking for a little bit more. As we're talking, then a couple of guys that I befriended earlier, just talking to people around me, come up as well. And this, maybe I shouldn't say this, maybe this isn't right, but essentially I feel like they wouldn't have come over if they hadn't seen me talking to her first. I feel like they were a little bit, nervous to themselves earlier. Then from me talking to them, thought, okay, this is a cool guy, and then seeing me talk to the girl, thought, okay, well, this is a friendly woman as well, so we could come and talk to her also. But when they came up, they weren't as interested in being friendly. They were interested in, in her in a romantic sense, and made that known pretty early on. And the thing was, I don't begrudge the guys who come and are out to find a romantic partner and are honest about that from the start. Hey, if you find somebody who likes you, you get to the point of yes from both sides more quickly. And if it isn't someone who likes you, then you get to the point of no more quickly, and you can move on and spend your time doing other things, right? So I'm not criticizing the approach, right? I'm not criticizing that strategy here. What I will say is that you have to be calibrated and you have to be aware of who you're talking to and kind of where they're at emotionally, right? And so with this particular woman, I could tell from even before I started talking to her that she was like a little bit nervous, right? A little bit nervous, right? And when I began talking to her, I could still, even though we're having a conversation, getting to know each other a little bit, I could still sense that little bit of nervousness, right? So these guys coming in and being a little more direct, hey, who are you here with? For a woman who is feeling nervous, who is feeling maybe out of place or something, and you're coming in kind of with that energy, I feel like oftentimes that's not the right approach for that situation, right? And again, I'm not criticizing the strategy overall. I'm saying that you still have to calibrate it for the situation you're in, for the person that you're talking to, right? And because these guys didn't, they got kind of dismissed fairly quickly, right? And I feel like when I then went back in and made a comment about it, it showed that like I kind of got it. I understood the social situation that we were in, understood kind of her emotional state better than they did. And that's something that, works in your favor when you know how to do it right? You can see other people messing up and then say, oh, that must have felt this way or that way. And it's like, oh, a look of recognition. Hey, we're on the same page. We're on the same team. We both get it. Right? So if that happens to you and you are one of the people who isn't calibrated, take that as a learning opportunity, take that as feedback. And that's like a lesson overall, is that going out, I feel like a good way to approach it is as an experiment, a social experiment, right? You're going out, you're trying different things, you're presenting yourself in different ways, you're telling different stories, having different conversations, and sometimes you'll have chemistry with the people you meet, and sometimes you won't, right? So I feel like thinking of it as an experiment, as something where you're going to be trying out different approaches, can help you not think of things as a rejection or as a put down, but just as feedback or as a lack of chemistry, right? As, hey, I'm getting some information, and so maybe next time I can change my approach if I want to. Or, hey, I'm experimenting with different things, and so if this experiment didn't turn out as well as I wanted to, well, that's just another data point, and I can kind of keep moving on unaffected and better because I have this additional data point, right? So, couple lessons, just because you see people, you assume they're together. That's not always the case. A great way to kind of get insight into that is, oh, how do you all know each other, right? That can kind of be a way to kind of get at that without being direct is this your boyfriend? Which I feel like does not work as well. And then also, having the calibration. And the calibration, the sense of when someone's uncomfortable, the sense of what might be the right approach at the right time comes with practice, with reps, with more developed social skills. And the only way you're going to get there is by going out and making it happen and kind of working through those instances that don't go as well as you want. So keep your head up, keep practicing, and the more you do it, the better you'll get, right? Don't be afraid of the feedback, accept it, and take it as an opportunity to learn and to improve. Take care and keep on getting out in the field.